Hi everybody. Today I have a special guest, PNBA pro Adam.Powe with me. Hi Adam, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Nice to
Good.
officially meet you. This is the first time we've spoken properly. As we said before we started recording, you've followed me for a while, and I've been aware of your Instagram and what you've been doing for a while. So,
Yeah, yeah.
very happy to have you on.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Cheers, man.
So introduce yourself to the guys who may not know who you are, comparative history, all that good stuff.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm Adam, and I've been competing for about like around 5 years now, training for around 10 years. And last year was a pretty good season, which I won the UKDPA, and I won the medium class, and then won at the Natural Olympia, which earned my pro card. Before then, I started competing I actually started in men's physique, and then went into bodybuilding, and
Right.
then probably competed a little bit too much, I think, in my opinion, in
Yeah.
my earlier years. But just loved, like, ultimately just love to train, and the whole process of bodybuilding surrounded like the training and getting strong.
Yeah.
And I just got into competing because that gave my training a really good purpose. And then
Yeah.
I loved it. And since then, I've just been loving that progress and just always thinking about the next step.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely going to be a couple of years. Well, 2025 will be when I come back as a pro.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I love bodybuilding. I love watching bodybuilding. I love
Yeah.
the whole training and everything about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm all about it. Yeah.
Love that. You said what? Well, two interesting things. I'll start on the first thing you said. So you used to do men's physique to begin with.
Yeah.
I've seen your physique online, and that's insane to me considering your leg development. Your leg development is unreal.
Cheers,
So
man.
has it always been that way, or is it something that you naturally developed to the point you are now? Did you start with decent legs or
No, I mean, so I came from like a background with playing rugby. So
right?
my legs, I wouldn't say my legs were like massively weak, but they weren't strong in the
Yeah.
first couple of years.
Yeah.
And that wasn't because of my like genetic potential. It was to do with my training
Yeah.
and how I was training at the time. Just not really understanding like how to approach leg training. I was a bit of a someone that liked the whole powerlifting side of things as well and just
Right.
getting strong. And probably not training hard enough when I was training legs across like the isolation stuff and all that stuff that really matters as well.
Yeah.
And I think my old coach, who I was with for a few years, whilst like I would say it was he taught me a lot of good things, but also maybe some things that held me back a little bit in the sport. I'd say one of the best things he did teach me was training legs hard.
Yeah.
I was really grateful for that, and he got me into enjoying like going into the gym and just burying myself in the gym.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
that that was the reason why my legs improved. And he actually looked at me at the start and he was like, "Yeah, we're doing men's physique. Your legs aren't good enough yet."
Right.
Um, they they were okay, but they just weren't. Especially like my side leg,
Yeah.
hamstrings. I just hit a lot of quads, and like I would do like a few sets of seated leg curls, probably nowhere near failure,
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
move
Yeah.
on and just
Yeah.
do the
Yeah.
same things. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's funny. It's funny because again, genetic potential, which you touched on, it's clear that you've got the genetically you're made to have great legs. Like your legs are phenomenal. And one of my strongest body parts is my leg. So I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah,
if you're the same as me, but whenever my legs are my chest, so whenever I see a good chest and good legs, I'm like I see it immediately. And one of the
yeah.
things I noticed with you immediately was that you had good legs. And I think legs and back is one of the hardest, they're one of the hardest body parts to have at a high level. So I'm
Hmm.
not surprised you won the Natural Olympia, which I'm going to move on to
Yeah.
next. Because you're very balanced from top to bottom. You're solid from top to bottom.
Cheers.
So
Thanks.
yeah, you got a great physique. I'm a big fan, to be honest. So hence the reason I asked you on here as well. So the Natural Olympia. I don't have no. You are the first UK DFBA / PNBA affiliate that I've had on the podcast so
Yeah.
far. Explain to me and to the guys who may not know who are watching, because I know I do have a lot of BMBF viewers and stuff. What is the process from qualifier to get into the Natural Olympia, and what does that lead on to? You've obviously already said you won your pro card, but yeah, explain it
Yeah,
like
for
you
sure.
don't know.
Yeah. It's quite a long process in my opinion, especially if you're an amateur. Well, you obviously are an amateur, but like the whole process of so if you haven't won a British title before, it's quite a long process because with the UK FBA, what you need to do is you need to qualify for the finals.
Right.
If you've won the British before, you can always go back to the British. But if you haven't, you have to qualify. Then you need to go into the finals. You need to then win the finals in your
Yeah.
class. You don't
Yeah.
need to win the overall. You just need to win your class. That will get you an invite to the Europeans, which would be around like 2 weeks later.
Okay.
And the Europeans is where UKDFBA are very supportive and they fund everything for that trip.
Nice.
So
Nice.
they will fund everything for you to go to that show. And it is an extremely competitive show. But they'll also offer the ability to go to the Natural Olympia with the team. However, you will be funding that yourself.
Hmm.
So it's quite an expensive trip, but
Hmm.
definitely a worthwhile experience if you're very into bodybuilding. I definitely would suggest it because it was an amazing experience for myself.
Yeah.
And I think that was probably out of the Europeans and the Natural Olympia was by far, and it might sound biased because I won, but like it genuinely was so much better ran than the Europeans and better
Yeah.
judged
Yeah.
because the Europeans was extremely rushed,
Right.
very very rushed, and I was pretty gutted with the whole process
Yeah.
because we literally came out and there were so many of us and we were on a line. We all walked forward, we posed like let's say like over 15 bodybuilders just in a long line,
Yeah.
and then we walk back in the line. They don't move anyone around, and they call out the top five, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And it was extremely rushed. And I was posing, and the judge in front of me was looking like this, just at the guy in the middle. The whole time, no one was looking at me posing. I was like, "There's literally not a single judge looking at me posing right now." I was because you know what it's like. You're looking at the judges.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And I remember I hit a front double, and the worst thing you ever want as a bodybuilder happened where the guy in front of me hit a front double, and his arm was
Has
like
crossed over yours.
yours, and
Yeah.
I was like behind, and I was completely shut off, like
Yeah.
shallow over my physique.
Yeah.
And a lot of people at the Europeans didn't. A lot of people at the Europeans that didn't even place went and won the Natural Olympia, and people just got overlooked massively.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it was an interesting one. But I remember coming off there and I was like, okay, what I spoke to AJ, I was like, who's my coach?
Yeah.
And I said, what shall I do? Like, is there any point in going to the Natural Olympia? He said, there's absolutely every point in going there.
Mm.
I definitely believe you should have been like, top three. It was a very high standard there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because some of the guys, like basically in Romania, if you turn pro, you can't. The government pay you for you to compete before, as
Right.
an amateur. If you take
Right.
the pro card, they won't fund for you to compete. So
Oh, right.
there's a guy called Alex Lukac who's absolutely huge. Has won like 16 pro cards.
Mm.
Hasn't taken his pro card.
Really?
Yeah, and he won the overall. He won everything. Yeah, it's crazy. So the European standard is very high. But yeah, it was a bit of a rush show, and I definitely feel like it could have been very different. My physique
Yeah.
wise as well, it could have been a better physique as well at the Europeans. But what I would suggest to anyone watching this is go to the UKTFBA, take that opportunity, go to the Europeans, see how you fare, and if you feel like you're at a really good potential, absolutely go to the Natural Olympia. And to be honest, even if you're not gonna, if you're not sure if you're gonna win the pro card or not, just go because the experience was absolutely amazing and I had the most fun I've ever had on stage there.
Yeah.
Like the judges were so good. They were looking at me and Christopher. They were moving us around back
Yeah.
and forth. They were so engaged.
Yeah.
And that really means a lot like to a competitor when you put so much effort into a prep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I know. I'm sorry to hear that because, well, I am and I'm not because you vindicated yourself like you said many guys did by going to the Natural Olympia and winning.
Yeah.
So it's not a big deal. And thank God you had somebody like AJ who's been around the block as a coach and he knows what he's looking at. He's not going to be discouraged by that. I understand why you second guessed yourself because you're the one standing on stage.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
looking from the stands is a different thing. If you're
Mhm.
good, you're good. It doesn't matter who you're standing next to. So
Yeah, of course.
yeah, I'm glad he was in your ear and he pushed you to go. And obviously, you got out of it the best thing you could have got out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, which is good. I am a fan of the federation setup as far as the outreach they have. So as far as the Natural Olympia and just the sheer numbers of competitors they tend to get. Um, obviously I have competed with the UK DFBA before, but I've only competed once, my first ever show, and I did enjoy it, of course. I didn't carry it through for the end of the end of the year to the British because
Yeah.
I was basically just burnt out.
Yeah,
Mentally,
yeah,
I put so
fair.
much pressure on myself to win. I was just burnt out by the time I
Yeah.
got to it. So I did
That's why,
three shows
yeah.
that year, and that was it.
Yeah, that's why I said to at the start, like it is quite a hard process of like qualifying and
Yeah,
then you got to go to the finals.
yeah,
I think you've got to really strategically oh God, I can't speak, strategically figure out
yeah, yeah,
what show to do
yeah,
and then what like how you're gonna map out your prep
yeah.
because you can like for some people they need to be pilled to
Mm-hmm.
qualify.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're pilled and then you've got that much long
And
to
you got
go
to
into the
carry it over.
finals, the ability to retain tissue is difficult.
Yeah,
Um, and it's also mentally tough. Like it's a
yeah,
long prep.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me mentally. Again, my first ever competitive year, and I did do well, but I put so much pressure on myself. I just, yeah, I think mentally, I had won the BMBF British. I had come close to winning my pro card in my first year, and it was like I geared up so much energy and mental space for that, and
Yeah.
the thought of then having to do that again, I think it was
Mm.
like 3 weeks later at the UK DFBA. I was
Yeah. Yeah.
I just don't have it in me in my first year. Now my second competitive year in 2021, I would have been in a position to do that. But again, I all my mental space was taken up by getting my DFAC pro card,
Yeah. And
which obviously I ended up getting. So
that's understandable. And like I was speaking to AJ about this in terms of when we were thinking about the season, we were
yeah,
thinking about doing BNBF and other shows. And he just said, when your goals are like this high, you need to put all your eggs in one basket. You just
yeah.
need to focus on like that show that really matters.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, you can do different peaks and stuff, but ultimately that's kind of taking time away where you could be
It is.
putting more into that show that you really care about.
Yeah, you could be refining, you could be improving. Obviously, with natural,
Mm.
it's not like you're gonna be putting on tissue, but even the food that you're taking in and the calories you're taking in, if you're ready slightly early and you want to push your food back up and get fuller and
Yeah.
harder, rather
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
doing mock peaks for shows
Yeah.
that don't really matter, you could be focusing on that. Yeah, I 100% agree with him. I 100% agree with the process and the approach, sorry, in general. I 100% agree with that. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
what time period was between the Europeans and the Natural Olympia? How
It
long did
was another 2 weeks. So
Okay.
yeah, it was like well, it was even a week and a half or yeah, around that. But it was
Right.
pretty
So
much
you would have been, yeah. So the judging was poor because you would have improved, but in a week and a half as a natural competitor, maybe you get tighter, but there's not much else you're doing in
yeah.
the time frame. So the judging must be poor for you to do that and then a week later come out as a natural Olympia
Yeah,
winner.
yeah.
Is
I
that
definitely
sorry, go
yeah.
on, go on.
I definitely like I don't I think I was looking at me compared to the guy that won at the Europeans and
Yeah.
it's the fact they didn't move anyone around. That
Yeah.
in my opinion, bodybuilding, it's like you're only as good like it's based on who you're next to. And
Yes.
there's so many different like individualities sort of stuff with people's physiques that
Yep.
if you're stood next to someone, it can make you look different to if you're stood next to someone else.
Mhm.
Um, and the fact that they didn't move people at all, it's just yeah,
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. It's not
that's not a
great
good
look
sign.
because when I've competed in the past and even when I don't want to no, don't want to be rude. Even when I'm number one and it's pretty clear I'm number one,
Yeah,
I still get moved around.
yeah, exactly.
I've never been in a call out where I don't end
You
up
just
at
stand,
the
yeah,
side of the line and then the middle of the line and then next to the middle. Like you always move and
yeah,
you end up
yeah,
leaving the stage just thinking, am I doing well or not? Because I
yeah.
don't know because they move me around so much. And the UK DFBA, to be fair to them, when I did it, they were doing the same thing.
They're really good at that. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 they were doing the
So
same thing.
that's the thing.
So
I think it's worth stressing. Like my experience at this Europeans is to do with that the country that
I understand that.
ran
Yeah,
that
yeah,
Europeans.
I
So
understand that.
in like 2 weeks, we've got the Europeans here, and it'll be a completely different story.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
yeah, it'll be really really good. So I think I just got a bit unlucky that year with the Europeans, and I
Where is
think
that?
that's how it works.
Where
It
is
was
that? Sorry,
it
the
was in
Europeans.
Hungary. Yeah, Hungary.
Where's this one? Where's this year?
Oh, this one. So I think I'm not too sure actually. It's the Universe, I think it's called. Because the Europe, it's the World's in 2 weeks, which is here. Yeah, I'm not too sure, but
Where's the Worlds this year?
well, that's
So
in
it's
two
here.
weeks here
Where is it?
in
Area
Manchester.
wise. Oh, Manchester.
Manchester. Yeah,
Is it
yeah, yeah.
Saturday?
Saturday and Sunday. Yeah,
Yeah, I might come
I
up.
think Saturday's bodybuilding, and Sunday is like physique and bikini.
Yeah, I'll be there Saturday because I know guys competing in it. I think I'll try to come up.
Yeah. I'm going for Saturday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got prior arrangements. What's the date of it? Do you know?
June the 18th, I want to say, but it might be wrong. I
Oh, it
think,
might be 17th then, because that's a Saturday. 17th and 18th is.
yeah, that sounds correct. Yeah.
Oh, shit, I can't make it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm booked. I'm booked in already. Well, yeah, I'll find out how people do anyway. I'll find out how people do. But yeah, and I was looking forward to going to that. But in any case, there's more shows this year.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, that's good. So 2025. So you competed last year. You won your pro card, did you
Yeah.
say? So
Yeah.
so this year's been off season. I've seen that you've grown from your Instagram. So then you're gonna have 2024 off next year also, and then you're gonna stand on stage 2025.
Yeah.
In terms of your prep length, obviously people deal with things differently. So my first year was 26 weeks, my second year was 36 weeks. You would have thought that I was in worse condition the second year, but I wasn't. We just took it slower, and it was just a different approach. And yeah, it
Yeah.
works anyway. But what are your how long do you typically prep for your first? Well, you're pro now, so let's say you hypothetically, let's say you just do your pro show, your first pro show. What length are you looking at?
So this is an interesting question because obviously, like we just talked about, like the qualifier and everything I had to do.
Yeah.
For the qualifier, I would say I wasn't lean enough then.
Right.
That was kind of done on purpose because
Yeah.
we wanted to be in a good position.
Mm-hmm.
But with that in mind, I think probably 25 weeks, but it depends on the starting point.
Yeah.
If the starting point is similar to last time, then probably 30 weeks.
Okay.
Because there's no, like, obviously the pro show, that's it. So
Yeah.
it matters a lot to just really nail it for that show.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But yeah, maybe like around 25 weeks. But we'll see. I think 25 weeks is probably all I need. And I'd like to make it like a really nice slow prep where I only need to lose like 12, 14 kilos, you know?
Yeah.
I was speaking to pro bodybuilder Mitch Jarvis, you know him?
I know Mitch. I know Mitch.
Yeah. I think he's lost around like he's losing around 12 kilos this prep, and he just said how easy it is. Like,
yeah, because he walks around relatively lean. Like I see him.
Yeah.
I see him in his off season, and you can still see like yes, he's carrying. I wouldn't even call it fluff. He's carrying regular body weight for a fit person. He's not fluffy. You know what I mean? There's a difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I walk around fluffy. There's a difference in what he's doing. So yeah, I would imagine, and I know there are guys who obviously do that. I just listen. I like to relax a little bit. I like to get fluffy, be strong in the gym, and just relax.
Exactly.
That's just me.
I like to, like I said about the training, that's my passion. It's like I just want to be strong and really test what I can lift in the gym.
Yeah.
And I think it does help you grow a lot. So
I do.
Yeah.
I agree. I think there's a fine line. And when did I say this one? Yes, I did. I said it on the last episode. There's like fluffy and fat are different. And I'm not saying that for you. I'm saying that for the people watching who don't necessarily know the difference.
Yeah.
If your extra weight you're putting on is not paying dividends in the gym, or it's not. So if you're not basically getting stronger, or you're not visibly putting more tissue on in weaker areas, there's no reason you need to be fat. You're just being fat. Yeah, there's no need. There's no need. But I think everyone obviously will have a different threshold, but everyone has their limit where it no longer is a benefit to be putting on extra body fat. Mine, I know what mine is this year. It's 91.5. Anything over 91.5, let's be honest. Yeah, my gym lifts are slightly better, but not enough for the weight I then have to lose if I was to start prep there. Obviously, I'm only short as well for reference, 5'5". So 91 is heavy for me.
That's heavy, yeah.
It's heavy for it's heavy for me. So what do you weigh? Because you are massive in your pictures. I've never seen you in person. But
I know I'm 92 and a half.
You're 92 and a half.
So I'm like 5'9".
Right. Okay. You look very big. Like you look like your arms and legs are big, very big.
Man.
And go on.
I think I do suit the off season look a bit because you know when you've got like an even distribution of body fat, it just does make you look big. Yeah. So I always say this is like I'll really assess my physique once I do a mini cut, and that will give me a good.
Yeah. I'm on a mini cut now. So I'm on a mini cut now. So I didn't weigh myself this weekend because I looked at myself instead because I don't always pose in the gym. I kind of, if I know the scale's telling me what it's supposed to, I trust that my body's doing what it's supposed to do. So I don't over analyze what I look like. But on the other hand, when I feel like, right, I look great, I'm then not going to get in my head about the number on the scale. It doesn't make sense. That's just how I mini cut.
Yeah,
On
yeah,
prep, everything is documented. It's different. But on a
yeah,
mini
yeah.
cut, I'm a little bit more relaxed. So I'm on a mini cut at the moment. I feel like I look good. And I'm in a position to, my plan is to get down to, I'm basically just going to continue to the end of the month and then try push back up to about 91 again and then hold
Mhm.
91 until I start prep.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the tissue
That's a good
I've
plan.
earned over the last 2 years, I think is going to be a game changer. And I'm confident it's going to be a game changer because my weaknesses are now very strong. So,
That's classing. Yeah,
yeah, I'm
that's what you
excited.
want.
Yeah, one thing I was going to say, the reason I'm saying this is because you talk about even distribution of body fat. I'm telling you, I do not have that. Everything goes to my obliques, my butt, and my quads. Everything. Everything goes there. My shoulders have striations in them when the rest of me's fat. Like
Like, yeah,
it's just how it is. It's
yeah.
just how it is. You're one of the lucky people
I've got
where
it a bit here, like, yeah,
yeah, yeah. You're one of the lucky people. If you hit the beach at your peak off season, you look solid throughout.
yeah.
If I have a vest on, I look great. If I take it off, it's like, nope, not anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah. So your competitive plans, not so your PMBA pro.
Mhm.
So what's the views of like a WMBF pro? What would you have had to do? Does that still? I assume that still exists.
Yeah, yeah, it does. It's now UKFBA is now with the IMBA,
Yeah,
so they were previously with WMBF. So now I think WMBF UK would be the way to go to get a WMBF pro card. And I do sometimes think about it because obviously the WMBF Wales is a really good show,
yeah,
but at the same time, the Natural Olympia is also like a really good show. Like
of course.
the pro class there was really good,
Yeah,
like crazy. I was just
yeah,
watching them like shit. I need to take my time here and
yeah,
get big because it's just a different level of like muscle maturity and
yeah.
just size. Like the guy that won, his chest was just crazy big.
What was his
um,
name?
Tommy, Tommy something PNBA Tommy. Yeah, if you type in on Instagram, he's not very
Yeah.
well known. Like he actually, I think he made an Instagram like quite recently, and I
Oh
started.
right.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know Daniel Kubik? World, he won the Worlds in Europe.
How
IMBA
do you
World.
spell his surname?
Kubik, I believe.
Kuvik or
B
Bik?
B B I K.
Okay, yeah, I found him. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
He's
he,
phenomenal.
yeah, yeah.
He's
He
phenomenal.
won the Worlds in Europe, the IMBA World. So he's an IMBA pro. So
Right.
he beat Tommy. He won the Natural Olympia. I think it was looked pretty close, but yeah, that's the standard, and they're really good. But I think hopefully in 2025 when I come back, I'll be ready. Yeah,
Of course. I
yeah,
just I think that's one thing with off season where you have to keep your head a little bit. You need to because we slowly forget how we felt being lean. Like you think
yeah,
you're
yeah,
gonna be small, but then you actually get lean and you're like, oh shit, I actually look pretty good. Maybe
yeah,
not, maybe not. I definitely do. I sit there thinking, I look fucking massive. I'm lean and I'm huge. But in my off season, I'm like, oh, when I cut, I'm gonna be so much smaller than now.
yeah.
And yes, you might be, but the illusions that striations and lines and deep cuts make obviously you gain more than you lose in my opinion for me if you prep
Yeah,
properly or
yeah,
teach properly you gain more than you lose but yeah no
definitely.
the standards definitely high over there and yeah I just like I said I don't have well I haven't had many UKDFBA affiliates PMBA affiliates on here so I just want to make sure for the guys who may not know because I genuinely didn't know the process to PMBA because PMBA mistake correct me if I'm wrong, is fairly newly introduced.
Yeah, I think I'm not too sure. I think it has been going around for a while. Yeah, but I
I
think
didn't know about it when I was so I my first competitive year was 2019, and I didn't really know about it. I knew about the
yeah, yeah.
WMBF, but I
I
didn't know
think
about
I
PMBA.
didn't either. I think that's due to UKFBA changing, and maybe that's
Right.
allowed the UK to see more about the PNBA.
Yeah.
Only reason I say I think it's been going for quite a while is like a guy called Ricardo, Philip Ricardo, I think.
All right.
He's been competing for like 30, well, a long time, like a really
Yeah.
long time. He's just retired. Probably one of the best natural bodybuilders, I think. Like
Yeah.
just the level of muscle maturity and stuff he had. But I'm pretty confident he was competing in the IBA. He was like he won the natural Olympia loads and loads and loads.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's really big in America, but just
Right.
has sort of hit the scene a bit more in the UK. Yeah,
Okay. Well, yeah, no, I'm definitely aware of it now, more so because obviously the UK DFBA affiliating with them. I hadn't heard about them before, but yeah, it seems to be a good quality show anyway.
yeah.
Um,
I
so
think
what
you should
go on.
definitely. It'd be awesome to see you go in the UK DFBA and go that see what you could do there as well. Yeah,
I never close the door on anything, and I don't wanna obviously, do you know what it is? I'm a very goal-oriented person, but I'm very single-minded in my thought process. So
yeah,
I think the impression that some people may have of me is that I'm not interested in another federation, and it isn't. It isn't that. It isn't.
yeah,
It's just when I have a goal in my mind, depending on how high priority that is, that takes precedent, and it's just
yeah,
how I am. I'm very single-minded, and that seems to bode well for me when I do that. And
yeah, of
like
course.
AJ said, put all your eggs in one basket. That's how I am.
Yeah, yeah,
So in an environment where things line up for me and I'm like, I'm gonna jump over. Because one guy that I always credit for things like that is Ben Lloyd, if you know Ben
yeah,
Lloyd.
yeah. Ben Lloyd. Yeah,
Obviously, he got his DFAC pro card, finished second to Dave K in 2019, I want to say. Then jumped over, got his WNBF pro card against Solomon Anola. And then, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And he's bouncing around and competing. And I'm just like, that's what we do it for as natural athletes. We're not like IFBB pros where you're getting large purses for winning shows.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we do it. Most of us do it for the love of it, or we do
Hmm.
it to support our businesses. I know you coach and
Yeah, yeah,
PT as well.
yeah. Just online coaching. Yeah, just
Right. So
online.
yeah.
Yeah,
So you're an online coach. So that's obviously going to benefit your business as well. But ultimately, we do it for the love of it. You don't have to do it to be a successful coach, in my opinion. You just need to
no,
be
yeah, yeah,
seen being fit, and that's probably enough. And know
yeah,
what you're
yeah,
talking about, and you're
yeah,
probably enough. So we do it for the love of it. So to see guys like Ben just hopping around and just competing because he likes competing, it's good. So yeah, long story short, anyway, I definitely won't close the door to any show and
yeah, yeah,
anything. I will admit the two biggest things on my mind at the moment will be my DFAC pro debut,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I would love to get a IFBB pro card.
yeah, yeah,
I would love to get one. Obviously, natural being natural is going to be an uphill battle, but I've seen enough people do it now where I'm like,
yeah. Exactly.
why not? Why
So
not?
you got like you're like the same with me.
Yeah,
Like I have like I'm not closing the door of being BF.
yeah,
And I'm thinking I want to do my pro debut in IMBA and
yeah,
chase an IFBB pro card, and like
yeah,
that's what I want to tick that box.
yeah.
When you've been thinking about that goal in your head, it's like to add something else. It's
Exactly.
just
It's
yeah,
difficult to. It's no slight to that. It's just it's not the same level of priority.
yeah,
It just isn't.
yeah,
It
yeah,
just isn't. But right. So that leads me on to what I was going to ask you anyway. So what are your goals then for bodybuilding going forward? Now that you're a PNBA pro, what are your goals, your other avenues, like you said, IFBB, blah 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 blah. Explain all that to people who don't.
Um, so I think in terms of chasing these goals, I'm definitely not in a rush. Being
Mhm.
only 24, I still got
Yeah,
a lot of time.
yeah, you're
So
young.
I'm trying to remind myself like next pro in 2025 when I compete as a pro, I'd love to get like I'll be happy with top three in a pro class, like a really high level pro show,
Yeah.
and I would like to maybe win a pro show as well.
Mm.
That's a goal, but like I said, top three would be happy with because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I need time for muscle maturity and things
Yeah.
like that because
Yeah.
those things really do help a lot.
Yeah, they do.
And so yeah, I'm not in a rush. I'm just gonna come back in 2025, but ultimately my goal is to be like one of the best pro natural bodybuilders in the world and then get an IFBB pro card
Yeah.
eventually and see how far I can take my physique naturally. I think even forgetting like the whole competing side of things is literally just like how far can I take my physique naturally. I'm so invested in that process now that I don't really get tempted anymore about
Yeah.
going to like the dark side and
Yeah.
taking
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
steroids and
Yeah.
stuff. I'd actually say maybe a few years ago I was more tempted than now because
Yeah.
now I'm just so driven to be like I want to see how far I can take my physique.
When you start
Yeah,
winning, you
yeah,
start to
yeah,
realize, do you know what? I don't need that right now.
yeah,
Maybe in
yeah,
the future when I want to even the playing field. So when you win your IFBB Pro card, you
yeah,
you'll compete a few times. You'll see, I want to keep winning. I'm not okay with just saying I'm a natural average bodybuilder. I want to keep winning. Then maybe you'll do it. For me, I'm 28. I'm still young, but I'm older than you. And I always say never, but I'm 99.9% sure I'm never gonna take anything
Same.
I shouldn't,
Yeah.
and all that other nothing. I'm not gonna do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here.
So yeah, so my goal is well, my immediate goal is to win my IFBB Pro card against guys who are untested and do it in classic.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I know that in the natural two bros, you can obviously win your pro card, you're in open and or classic um at the end of the year. So
Yeah.
depending on how things line up, that's definitely an option for me. When you talk about winning your IFBB pro card, how do you see yourself doing that? What show do you choose? What class do you choose?
Yeah. So I would want to do it against like untested,
Yeah.
and so I wasn't actually too sure about that. So obviously I've seen some people get IFBB Pro cards who are natural in a natural show. That isn't they can't compete in a pro show. They can. Yeah.
So I always knew they could do it classic. So like Tafamiji. Do you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
Taf? Yeah, so
I
Taf,
think I've seen like yeah, I've seen him before. I believe. Pretty
yeah, so
sure.
he won his pro card at the end of 2021.
Yeah.
And he's now an IFBB pro. He won it in the classic two bros
Yeah.
in the classic two bros. But I had last episode I had Marky on and he won both. So he won the classic and the open at the natural. And
Yeah.
you get a pro card for both. So he's got literally has two pro cards, three pro cards. So he got them on the
It's
same day.
crazy.
So yeah, you can do both. So if you wanted to, if you didn't want to do it against the untested guys, then yeah, the IFBB pro card means just as much to us naturals
Yeah.
as it does to anywhere else. It's more just a pride thing. For
Yeah.
me, I'll be honest, I'm just very, very competitive. And I would
Yeah.
love to beat guys who I
Yeah.
shouldn't have a
Exactly.
right to beat, basically.
Yeah. That's it. And
That's it.
I think that's it. I'm the same there. And it's like I'd want to do it against untested
Yeah.
individuals because also it's like you get your pro card. I believe this for people that are assisted as well. It's like
Yeah.
there's no point turning pro if you can't win or even compete at a pro show. There's
And
literally
this
no
is,
point.
I agree with you. And this is why I've put myself towards classic because I'm a lucky bodybuilder where, yes, I'm thickly muscled, densely muscled, all that other stuff that fits into natural bodybuilding. But I believe I could fit the criteria as classic well enough to be competitive naturally. Am
Yeah,
I
yeah,
the perfect classic physique? No. I know guys who have better shapes than me for classic.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but to be competitive and to keep interest within bodybuilding, I think I can
yeah,
do
yeah.
it
Of course.
naturally a long time. And I feel like genetically I put on tissue very well and I put on very quickly. I don't see myself not putting on new muscle. I reckon I'll be putting on new muscle at 35.
Yeah,
Dave
yeah,
K's 40 and the last time I saw him was the best Dave K I've ever seen.
yeah, yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So there's no reason that I couldn't just keep improving until I'm 40 and
That's it.
become
It's like
competitive.
I've been training for 10 years.
Yeah,
So imagine over like doubling my training experience, like
exactly. Like
15 years.
yeah, yeah. Bob
Like,
Waterhouse is the same. He's been training 20 years and he gets better and better and better. He's 37, I think he said. I don't want to put years on him. He's 36 or 37. And again, he's just training and training and training. And he's an IFBB pro. He's done a couple of shows already. He's doing 3 or 4 more this year. You know what I mean?
yeah,
He's living the life and he's enjoying himself. And I think we're in a new era now, especially because Classic has been introduced, but we're in a new era now where being the biggest guy is not necessarily needed to be the best.
yeah, yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
before it was just a muscle
What
show.
about size? Yeah, yeah.
And then natural bodybuilding was who's the most shredded. But it's not
Mm.
like that anymore. It's
Yeah, yeah,
who's the best bodybuilder, who's got balance of both. Yes, you can
yeah,
be the most shredded, but if you're not carrying tissue, then it
yeah,
doesn't.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
easy. It's easy.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm excited for you. I'm excited for me.
Cheers,
I'm
man.
excited for just natural bodybuilding in the whole because I'm hearing more and more people who are open to doing it, and there's genuine belief there.
Yeah, yeah. It's
And what
going
that
out, man.
does, sorry to cut you, what that does is this trend we're getting into where a 17-year-old starts in the gym and starts thinking about steroids immediately.
Yeah, they don't.
What hopefully we will start doing is pushing it to, oh no, I don't have to do that. Because if
Yeah,
I'm genetically gifted, I could win my pro card naturally and
yeah, yeah.
do well. So that's why I know I have a running theme on here about talking about steroids here, yeah. And none of us take it. But
Yeah,
I just I the more and more I like my first 3 years of training was in commercial gyms. You don't
Mm.
hear about steroids in commercial gyms really, unless you go
No.
talk to the meathead in the
Yeah,
corner. Yeah. But the more I've got into proper bodybuilding gyms, the more prevalent steroids are.
yeah,
And
yeah,
the younger and younger and younger I'm hearing these guys
yeah,
using.
yeah,
And I'm like, you don't have to do that. You're
no,
genetically gifted already. There's so much for you in the sport at the moment. You don't have
mhm,
to. You don't have to do that.
yeah,
I know, like Nick Walker is top three at 25 and 20s, 27 now, and you get the guys who are phenoms like Phil Heath and all that kind of stuff. But what's wrong with just being a Samson Dowder or
yeah,
a,
yeah, exactly.
you know what I
Or even
mean?
even like Kai Green, Sean Corrida,
Yeah,
they all were competing in actual shows.
yeah,
Kai Green won the WNBF Worlds.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like, and it's not just about like the genetic side of things. I think it's also about just the experience of training
Yes,
and learning what you need to do. So it's like it's in the word, it's assistance. But
yes.
what are you assisting if you haven't got it in place? Like,
Hundred
you
percent.
know?
I heard. Well, who said it? Who said it? Yeah. Well, I was watching Fuad Abiyad's podcast. It wasn't his saying. He said it was someone else's saying. I think it might have been Arnold. You bet. Long story short, you can't carve a pebble. You can't make.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You can't. And it's exactly that. You're not like you don't have a foundation of
yeah,
informed training. Like you've gone in there, you've done a mishmash of stuff, you've ended up with some body parts that have grown, some that haven't, and then you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take gear now, it'll be massive. And it's like, okay,
yeah,
but you're just gonna be a massive mismatch of parts.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
things aren't gonna get, they're just gonna get bigger and more prevalent. They're not gonna get better that way. It doesn't work that
yeah.
way. There's a lack
And
of understanding there, isn't there? So
yeah, yeah. And it's like it's a health risk. And
yeah,
if you're going to make that decision to damage your health, then you need to make sure you're getting the most out of it.
yeah, yeah,
Otherwise,
yeah,
what is the point?
yeah,
So like spend years perfecting what you're doing in the gym, training hard.
yeah.
Like you should never be having a conversation with someone about their training intensity if they're
Mhm.
on gear, in my opinion, you know?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
should
yeah,
never
yeah.
be having a conversation with them about meal timings and nutrition, like choices if they're on gear, in my
No,
opinion. But
no.
sadly, a lot of people need to have those conversations, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I agree with you. And I just think I will cut the younger guys and just not even necessarily young, just guys who are new to the culture, not just going to the gym, but bodybuilding culture. I'll cut them a little bit of slack. I don't think they know. I think they'll look
Yeah,
at Nathan Diasha, have kebabs on prep every evening,
yeah,
and still come in shredded and win 8 shows. I think
yeah,
he's won 9 shows.
yeah,
You're not doing that naturally, and even if you're on steroids, you're not necessarily doing that. that's
yeah, yeah,
that's a genetic gift that you don't ask for. You
yeah,
get what
yeah,
you don't get. So
exactly.
yeah, it's one of those things. It's one of those things. Right, we ain't got long left because you're a busy man. So um what are you into in your personal time? What is your personal life set up like? For example, I'm married, boring, kid on the way,
Yeah.
love my food, love traveling. What are you into? What's your life set up like at 24?
Yeah, so I've got a son, Milo, he's a year and a half.
Oh shit.
So yeah, and yeah, I'm with my partner Ruby. So we've
Mhm.
been together for like a couple of years now. It was
Okay.
quite a like it wasn't Milo wasn't like expected, but it was
Yeah,
like an amazing thing
of
that's
course.
happened. And yeah, I'm in a really nice situation with my family where like we just to be honest, I think having Milo's changed my perspective on life. Having a
Yeah,
child does change that.
yeah,
And yeah, we just when we chill out, we spend time together at home. Ruby's into fitness as well. She wants to compete as well in a couple of years.
nice.
So that's always good. So we're on the same wavelength. It's how we met ultimately. We were both into training.
Right.
Um so yeah, we share similar interests, but a lot of the time we switch off and I just spent a week in Italy with them and my
I know you
family as
go
well,
away.
which
Yeah,
was
you said
nice.
you're away. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But most of the time it's just us like kind of staying in that routine of bodybuilding and then just enjoying the other things that you know when you're in prep you can't enjoy in terms of going out for meals
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
and just like having that extra bit of energy just to do more things I think
Yeah.
ultimately is yeah it's nice but at the same time like the thing is with bodybuilding is when you're both like me and Ruby are so into that side of things that you do naturally kind of you stay in your routine.
Yeah.
So we sometimes have to remind ourselves like, let's go go out for a meal or go out
Yeah.
and do something different.
Yeah.
Like we went to Fort Park like a couple of weeks ago, which was really nice change of
Yeah.
scenery.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
was fun.
I bet.
Yeah,
I bet. No, my wife trains, but she's not like she doesn't want to compete or anything like that.
yeah, yeah,
She's not a bodybuilder, but she trains hard. She was doing kickboxing twice a week, and then she trained like 4 times a week. She was fully into it.
yeah. Oh, nice.
And
Yeah,
yeah. But she didn't want to compete. She doesn't want to compete or anything like that. But she's my reminder, luckily. Like when I get into my whole cheat meal, because I have cheat meals every Wednesday and Saturday. On now that I'm mini cutting, I'm not really, probably once a week now.
yeah,
But she has to be the one that's like, Gene, man, let's go out, let's go
yeah,
sit in a restaurant. Let's not just order from Deliveroo and sit in front
yeah,
of
yeah.
people all the time. Like, yeah,
That's the thing, because like that was before I got really into bodybuilding. I was quite a social person. I
yeah,
used to go out a lot,
yeah.
and it's nice to remind myself to still somewhat enjoy the things. Like you don't have
Hmm.
to do it often, but like it is occasionally. It's a really nice thing. Like I'll have a drink. When I was in Italy, we had a few drinks. Like
Hmm.
pretty much most nights we would go out for dinner or have a
Yeah.
drink, because I'm not like, I know that in moderation those things aren't going to really take away from my goals when it's like, because
No.
what now I'm back in routine here, it's not going to happen for probably I'm not going to have a drink for like a few months.
This is the
Right?
thing. So now, obviously, my missus is pregnant. I'm like, right. I said to her, I don't drink anyway, really. But I said to her, when you're pregnant and you can't drink, I won't drink, and we'll do it
Yeah.
together. And we went to Egypt for 2 weeks, like a month ago, maybe now. And she kept pressuring me to drink. And I'm like, well, you can't drink. She's like, yeah, but I really want you to have a good time. I'm like, I can have a good time without drinking. I think I had like two rum and cokes over like 2 weeks just
Yeah,
to shut
yeah.
her up. Just to shut her up. I had like two rum and coke. I think one evening Man City were playing, and the next evening like Liverpool were playing. And yeah, I had a couple of drinks while I watched that, and that was it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's the fact that you can switch off, and the fact that you don't have an unhealthy relationship with bodybuilding, because the Gen Pop will see us and what we do as like extreme.
Yeah.
But when you see direct benefit to what you're doing every day, it first of all, it's not extreme. And second
Yeah.
of all, it does become a genuine habit. Like, even if you weren't competing, you might be off plan for about 2 days. And then you'll feel lost and you'll go straight
Yeah.
back to being on plan. Because it's
Yeah.
very difficult to not have that structure when you've had it for so long.
Absolutely.
You've been training longer than me. So the fact that you can break away from that, and you and your missus are both, goal driven in that way and structured in your diet, is fair play to you. Like, you need that
Mhm.
balance. And I know, as coaches and just influencers in terms of bodybuilding and stuff in general, like, yes, we always want to come across as hardcore and, oh yeah, always work this and do this all the time. And then it's like, relax. You need to
Yeah,
relax.
yeah.
You need to
Absolutely.
relax, because there's no longevity in you burning yourself out after 3 years because you don't allow yourself to have a burger and a beer. It
Yeah, yeah.
doesn't make
Exactly.
sense.
I think
Doesn't make sense.
with the more experience I've had now, I actually am able to switch off at the right
Yes.
time and
Yeah.
not stress.
Yeah.
Whereas I think, let's go 3 years back, I would stress about having a drink, and I'd have it
Yeah.
still,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
occasionally, but I'd be like, oh no, this is really bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas now, with the experience I have, I know at certain times when things aren't going to take me away from my goals, and I know
Yeah.
when things will.
Yeah.
Like it's great because I was peak off season. I was on holiday in Italy, eating
Yeah.
all the foods I want,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I brought my. It might sound a bit sad, but I brought my body weight scale with me because it
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
tell me how my life was like there was affecting my
Yeah.
scale weight,
Yeah.
and I actually one day my weight dropped. I was like, I need to eat more. Brilliant,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So
See,
that's
when I was in Egypt, I'm the opposite. So I deliberately didn't weigh myself, but I said to myself, Gene, just because you're on holiday, still make sure you get 10K steps in.
yeah,
And
yeah,
because you can eyeball food, when you've been doing it as long as been doing it, you can eyeball food to a respectable point. It's
yeah,
not like
yeah,
you're going to come back 3 kilos heavier by
yeah,
eyeballing food. So I said to myself, if I'm heavier, I work harder when I get back. If I'm
yeah,
lighter, happy days. And after 2 weeks, I came back 0.2 kilo lighter. So I
yeah,
was like,
exactly.
there you go. I was
Yeah, yeah,
relaxing and doing what I need to
yeah,
do.
yeah.
And you know what I mean? No stress, no water retention because of cortisol and all this other crap that you get.
Yeah, yeah.
Just you forget about it and just
But
do your thing.
this is why some people say to me like, "You've got like a weird relationship with food. You track your food, all this stuff." But
Mm.
I actually feel like that understanding with nutrition gives me more freedom in the sense I can go on holiday. I can literally eat what I want
100%.
and stay within my goals, you know,
100%.
stay reaching my goals. Whereas if you don't have that knowledge and you aren't aware of that, you can go away and then you don't know what you're doing, and then
You
you're
don't
like
know what you're
stressed.
looking at. You
Yeah,
don't know what
yeah.
you're looking at.
So
No.
it's I get why some people might have an issue with food when they're tracking their food all the time,
Yeah.
but I think it's the way you perceive it,
Yeah.
and the more you do it for a longer period of time, it just gives you more freedom and
Yeah. Yeah.
flexibility. Yeah, yeah.
No, 100% agree. 100% agree. So, long story short, you're similar to me. Chill with the missus. My child's on the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, congrats, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you. Thank you. I'm having a little
When
girl. I'm
Oh
a little
nice.
girl.
When should you?
August 1st. Yeah, I was
Nice,
supposed to
yeah.
compete. I was supposed to compete this year. I found out early that I found out January. I want to say found out January. Well, yeah, it was 4 weeks gone already, and we found out my missus was pregnant, and then my hernia got worse,
No,
so I
yeah.
had to get surgery. I got a call for that in like July 17th, so soon. And unfortunately, it seems like the surgery is gonna line up with the birth of my
Oh, no.
daughter, which is
Oh
not
god, that's
great. I'm
stressful.
gonna be fucking bedridden and in pain. But yeah, it is what it is. Life keeps rolling. I'll be back on stage next year, 100%. So
Yeah, yeah.
right. Before we wrap up, is there anything? I know obviously you're an online coach. You're exclusively an online coach, you said? You don't
Yeah,
PT.
just online coaching. Yeah. So
Right, okay.
just been pushing that a lot since I went to university, actually, studied history.
Right,
Funny
right,
enough,
right.
you wouldn't expect. But once I stopped at uni, after that I just went all in with online coaching. And yeah, I'm fortunate to say like I'm in a position with a business where like I can do that full time,
Good,
and it's moving in a really good way, which is
good.
exciting. Yeah, and
Um,
I love
I'm
it
I'm
because
trying to
it's
do the same. I'm trying
yeah,
to build up my client base. I'm getting a few trickling through, which is good. So I'm trying
yeah,
to
it's
build my
good.
client base and get to the same point. I feel like it's about time. I've been bodybuilding and doing well for a while. It's like why am I? And I know what I'm talking about. Like
Yeah, yeah, you do.
why are
Yeah,
you not helping people? You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, that's the goal. So yeah, is there anything you want to promote? Anything you want to talk about? I don't know if you have a sponsor or anything like that. I'm not sure, but
No, so obviously I'm sponsored by Natural Bodybuilding Worldwide.
Mhm.
So if you don't know about that, check it out. The website you can sign up. It's like £7 per month. It's AJ's site where there's so much useful information on there just about natural bodybuilding, like courses, content. Our logs are on there
Mm.
covering our training. So yeah, that, and then Elite Sups is my supplement sponsorship. So
No.
use my code PAL10 if you want
Yeah,
to get supplements on there.
yeah,
And other than that, obviously, if you want to chase me up for coaching, just go on my Instagram, adam.powe _.
yeah.
And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll flash up. I'll flash up. Is it NWB? Actually, no, NBW.
MVW, yeah, yeah,
NBW. I'll flash
yeah.
up NBW's Insta. I've seen it many times. I see AJ post on there all the time. And then yours and Elite Subs. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'll make
class.
sure everybody gets all the information they need. Adam,
Thank you for
thank
that.
you for taking time from your busy schedule. We finished right
Thank
on
you.
time. I'm trying to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
punctual. Um, where do you train? Where do you train?
I train at the coach gym. I can confidently probably say like it's one of the best kitted gyms in the country.
Yeah.
Like it's insane there.
Where is it?
Uh,
Where is that?
it's in it's like outside Cambridge.
Okay.
So yeah, north of London.
Okay.
Really good gym. The kit is literally exceptional, but better than Ultraflex in my
Yeah.
opinion. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
kit wise, it's just like each individual piece in there is just yeah, it's fun.
I need
Yeah.
to take a trip. I like to shout out gyms because I think a good gym makes a good athlete a lot of the time.
Oh, it
The
does, and this.
environment,
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
is, you know what I
yeah.
mean? It's definitely important. I did well in the pure gym, but not as well as I would have if I was in a proper gym. So
No, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I've got it with clients that train at this gym. It's like their back progress since the gym, because the gym moved recently to a bigger space. So he's
right.
now got all the machines. And since then, like I've grown a lot more and my
Yeah.
clients have grown a lot more. And
Yeah. No, I don't
yeah,
I don't doubt that whatsoever. I don't doubt that at all. So yeah, thank you again, Adam. Thank you everybody
of
for
course.
listening, watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.